Good morning, everybody. Hope you guys are doing all right. Jumping right into my watch list for this morning, I'm going to go into a couple with PRs and a little bit of action. Not too much action, but these setups are part of my wheelhouse. So jumping right into it, AMPX had this PR out this morning that they secured strategic U.S.-based manufacturing partner. So really, this had a pretty nice trend going into last week or a couple of weeks ago, and we got this 2-day pullback into the moving average, and this was a pretty good entry in of itself. And now we had a couple day push couple days ago, or this was on Friday. We had a little bit of a pull um, while the market was just sitting there, but now yesterday we came back in and we have this PR out this morning. So this little action over here, I mean, it's a little wide and loose, but it does remind me a bit of how Joby was kind of set up, back here, where it was a little kind of wide and loose, but we had this volume profile of pretty big push back to the upside, and then a little bit of a decrease in volume while it consolidates. The strength, is there relative to what other names were pulling back at the time. So I'm just looking for that continuation, pretty much over yesterday's highs. I mean, huge base as well, kind of just sitting in the same range it was since October. Then we have WULF, which had this out last night, gapping up to 15 now. Also in this base since October, and Bitcoin is trying to bounce on this very big level around 74,000. This was pretty much the level that it was attempting to break out of until the Trump in November, about a year and almost a half ago. So trying to bounce off that was also a key level back in April. So we'll see if it bounces or just rolls right through. But for now, it's holding up, and Wolf is kind of gapping up off that. So any trend to join there, maybe we get some nice break out of this base. I'm just going to go into the other ones here while I'm in that basket. But NUAI, I'm kind of just pulling back on decreasing volume into this 580s key level. So, I'm going to look for a trend to join there as well. And then I really like this IREN, but they do have earnings on Thursday, so I'm probably going to avoid it and just keep it on watch. But nice little cup and handle forming here. Maybe it does build out a little bit longer until the earnings and figures itself out from there. Then we got ONDS, this drone name that had a pretty nice pivot out into the new year. And now it's just been fading down into the 50-day and 10 level, and just pretty much just holding a little bit of an inside day yesterday. So if we push up through the 1120s area, then maybe we get a little bit of a bounce there. I would be interested in joining. AEHR had earnings out on the 9th of January. Didn't really do much. It was a little illiquid, and the volume is kind of picking up a little bit. So I'm just watching it again. If it builds out a little more, that would kind of be better. But otherwise, I'm looking for that 2685 reversal. I mean, we have this pretty much big base building out, so I'm looking for some sort of move back up through there, and then we got SEI, this solar energy name. Also, I mean, kind of just really just putting in higher lows, consolidating again since October. Building out quite well, and just looking for that push out. These names haven't been quite easy to join, but they have been pushing out higher. We have this other basket, the fiber optics basket, which again has been choppy, but kind of just like figures its way to push out higher. So if SEI just continues to just creep higher, then I would be looking for that just sort of move out and break out. That's pretty much what I got for today. I'll pass it right over to Josh.
Good morning. NXT, I'm going to be watching. These guys had earnings over here, a nice big move, and then it started to consolidate. So I'm going to be watching versus this recent low at 113 and see if we can kind of build a trend post earnings here. This is a big name in solar power and infrastructure to power the grid. They had great earnings. It's a company with zero debt, and I want to see if this can get going, but it needs to get going. SNDK potential 700 plus blow off and maybe unwind later. This has been a difficult trade to unwind. The strength has been great, but we are getting pretty far extended from the 50-day moving average. I think like 16 times. Let's see. It's good. It's always a good little indicator to just note when things are potentially extended. It doesn't mean they have to pull back right away, but it means that they can get close. So I will be watching here, and what I'd like to see is this get heavier throughout the day, remaining under VWAP, breaking through a prior day low. Would mark some heavy, like if something could get really heavy, you at least want to see it take out the day's prior's low. And then with that, I will be watching MU. I want to see SNDK is kind of like the leader of the snake. So if SNDK gets heavy, maybe MU does as well. Another name that I'm watching is Palantir. This is on earnings above its 200-day SMA. I want to see how it trades for like the first 20 or 30 minutes and see how heavy or how well it holds. But definitely a surprise on how well the earnings are holding, considering the multiple that it's trading. So this is just kind of on watch for me, and we'll see what happens from there. But that's it for me this morning.
So I'm going to start right off the bat with Palantir. I've seen that Josh went over it. Still, for me, this one, it's something that I consider that it's on the backside. I know the numbers are pretty good on the earnings, but still, given the fact that we sort of, showed some weakness, and now it's gapping up with a decent gap and right into pretty much resistance. And also, I don't have on this chart, but moving averages are, heading lower. So to me, at this stage, it's going to be, short bias. So I am going to watch any push pretty much more or less, into this area, see if it's going to push towards 169, 170. But still, I'm going to watch any blow off out of the gate and then see if after the first 10-15 minutes is going to show some weakness. So any opening range break to the downside, I'm going to consider this one for a short, risking those highs. So I'm leaning towards a short bias on this one. Also watching MU pretty straightforward. And again, same thing like on SanDisk, resilient name that it keeps grinding, and it's not an easy short, but if it's going to manage to push higher towards 160 460, or at least it's going to break above the big red day highs, I am going to consider for short. So any push there and fails, I'm going to be looking for a short. And then looking at TER, same thing here, a pretty extended name, which had earnings and huge gap up at around 300. So I'm going to have this one on radar for a short here. So any pops against pre-market highs, I might consider for a short. Not in a hurry with this one, and I'm not going to chase it here. But if it's going to give those pops and then it's going to look weak after that, I'm going to looking for a short. Also keeping an eye on Microsoft. Microsoft on the daily, it's pretty much beat up. We shall see if it's going to soak after it's making new lows, or if later in the morning it's going to still hanging around there and it's not going to manage to recover and reclaim pre-market highs. Then I am going to consider for a short. Same things goes with Netflix, which looks pretty weak here. So if it's going to break under 82-ish area and then it's going to stay there, I might watch for a short and potentially roll over later in the day. Now, also keep an eye on FATN, which is a small cap, already, had a push and a fail. Now, any pops towards 350, I am going to be looking for a short, but at least, giving a little bit of room towards 4. So even if it's going to mess around between 350 and 4, I'm still keeping my short bias and looking for a fail there and then potentially unwind. But again, on these small caps, looking to be more proactive and lock in based on these supports, and then we shall see how it's going to behave for that point forward. So yeah, pretty much that's what I have for today, guys. Good luck and catch you all in chat.
Yep. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Emil. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you guys all have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you guys all in the room.